we went from zero to $50 million with the 4X framework. So I was invited to speak at my friend Cole's mastermind. Every single person in this room paid $5,000 and more to attend this event. So what I did, I asked Cole, hey, can I publish this? He finally said yes, because it's been over a year, and now I am releasing it here on YouTube. So this 4X framework, this is what I use to scale companies over and over and over again. I divided up the business into 4 sections, and I talk about how I think about it individually, and each section of the business can increase its sales and revenues by 100 to 300%, if not more, right? So enjoy it. Again, people paid $5K plus to watch this, and now you're getting it for free. So enjoy it.
Thank you, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Like I said, we're very low key. We don't really talk too much about what we're doing because we don't want to be funnel hacked by like hundreds of other people. But I needed a really good reason to get away from the wife and kids. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be speaking at Cole's conference. So that's why I'm here. But a little bit about me, guys. So I used to be an investment banker about 6-7 years ago, graduated from one of the best universities in Canada. I started working, made 6 figures, and then I got taxed. I'm like, whoa, like I am not making much money at all. And I had like a first generation immigrant family, so I had siblings and family to support and everything. So I wanted to make a really good amount of money. So I quit everything and I started working on entrepreneurship, working towards something which was kind of trending. So I saw online marketing. During that time, you know, we saw the Facebook boom and social media, Web 2.0 boom happening. And I basically slept on a friend's couch for 6 months and just started building a business. Started with a marketing agency. We took that from 0 to multiple 7 figures. And just about 2.5 years ago, I started a course. Because with the agency model, you get constrained by the amount of labor you need in order to scale. Whereas with the info business, as I'm sure you guys are aware, you know, you're selling information, you're selling logins and passwords at the end of the day. So it is much easier to scale. How many of you here are in the coaching business? There you go. Just wanted to make sure this is going to be relevant for you guys. So again, you know, like we're still figuring out stuff, right? And I think that's one of the mindsets everyone has at every level, whether you're doing 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, we're still figuring things out. I've observed in the marketplace, there's multiple ways of getting to 8 figures. So the first thing I see all the time is people go super broad. When you go super broad with your offer, your TAM is huge, right? Your total addressable market, if you look at that chart, is, so if you're going after, let's say you're in the fitness offer, you're helping people lose weight. In the US, that's like 100 million people, that is your TAM, right? If you go more niche, and if you start going after dentists, there's only maybe 100,000 of dentists out there, right? So when you go broad, you have a huge market to sell to. The issue with going super broad is your cost of advertising rises quickly because your message is not specific enough. But you know what? You can still get to 8 figures. So you're going to have issues with profitability or scaling, ROAS. You're going to see those issues over and over again. But you can. Option 2, you go hyper-specific. So you find a niche and you find an audience that has a big pain point and you go after it. So when you do that, you can go for higher pricing, but you're limited by your TAM, right? Look at that green dot. It's much smaller than TAM, right? So the best case scenario we found was like, okay, how can we have the ROAS of hyper-specific TAM, but the market size of the like broad TAM? That's the ultimate win-win scenario. So what we started doing, option 3, who's pumped for option 3? I'm used to selling B2C, so usually we're like super hypey. And earlier when we were talking about low ticket B2C, oh my God, low ticket B2C is like the worst. If you go over the refunds or, yeah, if you want to get depressed very quickly, just read through the refund request for low ticket B2C. $5 products people will do a chargeback for, which takes 30 minutes to get on the phone to do. Unreal. Okay, so option 3. So we go broad and then we go narrow. Okay, so we try to capture like 100 million, 200 people, 100 to 200 million people as our target audience by having the broadest offer possible. And in any of your offers, I think that's something you gotta have in mind as well. Like, how can I reframe my offer so that it can appeal to pretty much everyone, okay? So with this, you do get higher profits. You get like a much larger TAM, of course. You have a huge moat as well. But the reason why you have a huge moat, it's not the easiest thing to do. And I'll get into more specifics about this as well. So there's one business model that has done this so well. And it's right in front of us. It's so big, we don't even see it. It's universities, right? I went to, at UBC, at my university, like everyone wants to go get a diploma from there. And there's so many different offers as well, from healthcare to kinesiology, to geography, to art, whatever. There's so many offers. They're casting the widest net possible. And the higher up you go in their funnel, the more expensive it gets. So a diploma is going to cost you $20K. A bachelor's degree will cost you $30K. A master's degree will cost you $40K, and PhD. The higher up you go, right? It starts off very wide, and then the higher up you're going, you're charging more money. And that's why business, like universities, are like so profitable as well. Another thing universities do actually really well is they make it very, it makes sense to ascend to the next level. Very rarely you'll see a drop off. And it's culturally looked down upon if you drop off after the first year, right? And even after you get a diploma, everyone encourages you. The culture is created in such a way that you have to ascend. I'd say like 50 to 60% of people ascend. That's the ultimate business model, right? So that's something to learn from universities as well. So I'm going to be talking about a few different frameworks we use. So this is like a big macro framework. The business we're in, there's actually 4 businesses within our business. There's 4 parts to this business. And once you recognize this, you can rate your business on each aspect. Okay, so there's lead generation. Every word here is carefully written, okay? So lead generation, maximum amount of quality leads at the lowest cost possible. That is the goal of lead generation. And I'm going to talk about some things we do under each of these categories as well to help you guys optimize your business. And with every category, you can have like 100%, 200% lift against your competitors. Okay? Are you guys loving this so far? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So lead generation, that's the goal. Lead development, you know what? We'll kind of go through that. So lead generation. So this is another framework I use within lead generation. All right? Create great ads. To create great ads, we follow this heuristic. All right? Class is in session, all right? C equals 3H plus I, 2A. So C is conversion, which is a sale. Okay? H is read that, right? How effectively does the hook attract attention in the most relevant way possible from the largest TAM? Okay? So you're going after the broadest market possible in the most relevant way possible as well. Within the first 10 seconds, every ad we put out, we're testing 3 different hooks. I almost look at every ad we're putting out as well. Like, now my copy chief is like on top of things. He's learning a lot, but we put out I think we are the biggest advertisers in the space on YouTube. And last year, over 100 million views. Why? In our market, it's because of the hooks we have, right? And of course, everything else matters too. But the hook is it's 3 times more important than the body. Okay, 3 times more important than the body. The second most important thing is the ask, the call to action. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that. What is the force of the ask? You've created desire, but have you driven them to click? So what are you creating there? Are you creating scarcity? Are you removing the risk of their time even? Not just like my money, but like time. Why is it worth it for them? Are you creating scarcity? This is going to go away, right? They're not going to see this ad again. How are you creating scarcity in your ads? Okay, the last one, how effectively are you converting the attention that you have captured in the hook into the interest, into the business model, okay? So this pretty much is the framework we use for all our ads, and a good ad can make a big difference because it's on the front end of your funnel, right? So our CPAs for like a 5K offer on average, bad ad 2,000 CPA, good ad 1,500 CPA, a great ad is 1,000 CPA, all right? So that's a big difference. That's a big difference in your, depending on your profit margin, could make a big impact. So have you guys seen this ad? See, you guys are not even like the perfect target market, but it was a broad enough ad to capture, your interest.
I've seen that ad so many times. I really knew you. I was like, these are the guys.
Okay, look, how to play this.
Might have to click on here.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll share the hook here. Oh.
Passive income. There's a simple.
That question, okay, no one copied this, please. But this box, just creating this box created more intrigue, okay? Here's a simple, passive income business. Feel the vibes as you're listening to this, all right?
There's a simple passive income business that allows you to be free. You probably don't know about it, but let me tell you what.
Stack of cash doesn't hurt, B2B, guys, B2B.
You do know about billboards.
Okay, there's so many things going on here that like we didn't even recognize until later on. That sunset helps. It actually does. Me being on a beach helps. Me being good looking helps. So once you're creating ads, I thought you were gonna leave. You're sticking around, eh? I like it. Okay, so the second part is lead development. Now you've captured the lead at the lowest cost possible, the highest quality person possible as well. Now it's about lead development. How can you bring them as close to the sale as possible? Because if you do as much work as possible for the salesperson, a salesperson is the real bottleneck here in our business. Because when you're selling a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 product, those calls need to be made over the phone. If you guys know a way not to have salespeople, let me know. But so far I haven't found anything until AI comes along. So you gotta bring it as close to the sale as possible so that your salespeople can be as efficient as possible. If your salesperson is only bringing in like 50K a month, you don't really have a great business. If your salesperson is bringing in 100, 200, 300, the higher it gets, now you have a more scalable company as well. Okay, so honestly, with every business, at some point, people problem is the main problem. Okay, so the less people you can have, the better, but you can't really avoid it. You're gonna end up having people. Okay, cool. So one thing we did with lead development, we have a form where we know like what's a good lead, credit score, whatnot, credit score, if income level, and if they're a good lead, we'll send them to the closer. If they're not the best lead, we send it to a setter or a low ticket offer. If they buy the low ticket offer, then they can purchase. And if they bought the upsell, then they can book a call with us. So that really helps. Yeah, so doing things like this bring the salesperson's efficiency higher because you're not fatiguing them with low quality leads, all right? Our CPB, cash per booking, went up by 20% doing that. The second thing we did with lead development, we invested $50,000 into our VSL. So keep in mind, our initial VSL that I created with bullet points, just like Cole did, it was converting for like a year and a half, and we were still making like $1 million a month with this offer. But since it was already working, we dropped 50 grand into a high production VSL, had a proper production team created, took like 3-4 months, right? And sometimes the investment is not money, guys. Sometimes the investment is in places you don't see. It's in time, it's investing in people, and it takes 3-4 months to happen, and you're gonna see the greatest returns there. So that's what happened with this. We got a 35% lift when we added a stronger risk removal guarantee, made the VSL more emotional, and just higher quality spend, right? So third thing, right? So third part of the business is sales, creating the most high energy, highly efficient sales environment. We've got about 30 salespeople, and honestly, a big chunk of that is hiring great talent. Okay, you have really good salespeople. We only hire proven salespeople now, because when they work with us, they usually make more money with us than they do with like anyone else. So our like top closers make like $500,000. We also took one of our top closers and turned him into a manager, which was very tough to do, to be honest. But we slowly phased him out of taking calls, and we created bonus structures, just like Cole was talking about as well, that, hey, if they bring up the team CPB, you get these bonuses. So that's been working out really well for us too. When we hire people, right, it's important to distinguish the training that you have, the system you have in place to train people versus the character traits or personality traits that people have. So when a person comes in, when a salesperson comes into our organization, we are looking for them to have certain personality traits. They need to be a good listener. Okay, if they're not a good listener, they're not going to be a good salesperson. And these are inherent personality traits. You cannot train them, right? You can maybe train one of these traits, but if they're lacking in a few of these, they're not going to be a great salesperson. Assertiveness, so key for a salesperson. Had a really good friend. I wanted him to make really good money. I got him on the sales team. He just was not assertive. So we gave him testosterone boosters. I'm joking. He's my friend, I can say that. Maybe. So confident. They have to be confident. You ask like even a mediocre, like decent, good salesperson, like, are you any good? They're like, yeah, I'm the best salesperson. I'm like, dude, your numbers don't show that. Oh, no, like, I don't know what's going on, you know? Like, yeah, they're too confident, empathetic, perseverance, and organized. Our best salesperson, man, this guy, he's a nut job. He's crazy. He hasn't taken one day off in 2 years. He hasn't taken one day off. He takes 3 times more calls than the average salesperson. He's a machine, perseverance, and organized. He's all of this, basically. So I'd suggest like getting a sales manager once you have at least 5 salespeople. It really does help bring the CPB. And yeah, weekly one-on-one calls. We learned a lot of this from Cole as well. Multiple entry points. So if you just have one offer, like a 5K offer, you're only going to be able to collect so much. You're leaving a lot of money on the table if you don't have a 10K offer, 25K offer, because even if like 30% of those people ascend right off the bat, you can raise your CPV by another 20% or so, if not more. Now, the last part of the business, which people don't even recognize exists, is Ascension. And this was something we didn't even build in until about like 5-6 months ago. And this is really what can make or break your business in the long run, right? So if you think about a university, they're not spending that much money on advertising. Maybe they are now because we're taking over their market share. But typically, there's a culture within a university. There's an Ascension culture. So that's something you can create, right? Create a very methodical way for people that, hey, if you buy a 5K offer, my next level up is a 10K offer. If I buy a 10K offer, I need the 25K offer. It has to be very congruent. Congruency is key. If you don't have congruency, you're not going to get that ascension. Okay? So what we're doing, so that's what we've got basically. We've got ascension from a $5 offer to all the way to $25,000 offer. Okay? And we're getting better at it, right? We still got to create that culture, but we're building on that. So so that is really, so if you do all the math, and I'm kind of tired, I slept like 2 hours last night, you'll have the slides. You can do the math. So if you do Ascension, obviously your ROAS is going to be much higher than if you don't do Ascension. It's the difference between like 2x ROAS or 1.5x ROAS, or even losing money on the front end. Like for a $5 offer, we're losing like $150, right? We've got upsells in place. We've got a AOV, average order value, of about like $60 or $50, but we're paying $200. We're paying $200 for a $50 AOV. We're losing $150 on day one. Why? Because we can ascend 5% of them towards a 5K, 10K, 25K offer. There you go. So That is what we're doing. And like looking at these numbers, right? With you still make 300K profit per month. But that is only the beginning for us, right? Remember, right in the beginning, I talked about how we're creating $1 billion company. So you guys want to know how we're doing that? Yeah, yay? Okay, let's go. So the ultimate ascension for us, that's just one offer that I showed you guys. And Cole, I don't want you to see this, otherwise you're going to do the same thing. Oh, sorry. You good? Okay, cool. So the ultimate ascension for us is to help people create multiple streams of income. The agency business is not just the start. If you got into our agency business or Amazon offer or e-commerce offer, or soon we're gonna have a crypto offer and go to the moon, a Kindle offer, right? Those are entry points. But once you're in one of those and you ascend from the 5K, 10K, 25K, cool. You've got the bachelor degree. Now let's get you a master's degree and create multiple streams of income for you. So you can, now that you're making some money, you're making 5K a month, 10K a month from following the agency program, now you can take that capital, invest it in starting your Kindle publishing business. Now you can take that capital, put that in Airbnb, and create a foundation for your family and for your future. So that's really what we're doing. And like if our cost per opt-in is $20, right? And if we get, let's say, 1% for simple math for them to buy, that's about a $2,000 CPA. But if you can get 2% of them to buy because we have multiple offers for them, hey, you know what, like this doesn't work out for you, don't worry, we've got you covered. Do this test and we'll find out what's the best business model for you. And boom, they get in. So we turned that 1% into 2%. Now it's, we should all be sharing lists as well, And I think there's more opportunity there too. So this is our path to $1 billion. So anyone hear about Beacon Street? So Beacon Street, I think it's a Stansbury Agora company as well. These guys did about 300 million in revenue. It took them about 15 years to get there. And we're at like 40 right now. And took us 2 years. So this company, $300 million revenue, $3 billion valuation with their SPAC, 10x revenue multiple, 10x revenue, not even an EBITDA, revenue multiple. That's huge. Why were they able to do that? Is because they had a portfolio as well. It's diversified. A coaching business by itself cannot be sold. However, if you have a portfolio of companies and you have a conglomerate as well, it becomes more of a sellable asset as well, especially when you put in the recurring. So they have a 17% recurring, but our business also has an aspect of recurring too, without actually being recurring in a way. So in our business, at the end of the day, recurring comes down to like the LTV of a customer. I was speaking with a communications a CMO, Shaw Communications in Vancouver. I think it's a $3 billion company, and they have a recurring business, kind of like AT&T. They have a recurring business. However, their LTV of a customer is only $250. Okay. Same thing with us. We just got to extend the LTV as much as possible and keep people in the ecosystem as much as possible by bringing them new offers. Think about all you guys here in the room. You probably started with a BizOp offer, right? And then you bought other stuff and you invested in yourself even more. So just got to create that ecosystem, and that's what we're working on creating, which is why we have so many offers already and launching more. So this is our path, okay? Grow TAM, right? Build and buy new offers, partner up with people. So if you're one of them, talk to me, okay? Look for new experts, new acquisition channels, okay? We want to get into organic as well, not just depend on paid advertisement. So by the way, we're hiring for that. If you know anyone good, let me know. Number 2, build flywheel effect, right? Build a network effect, right? Ditch the burn and churn model. When you create an ecosystem, then everyone's like thriving more. The customer's thriving more because you're giving them more points of engagement as opposed to just like buy or die type of emails every single day. We've done that for too long, right? All lists assist each other. The third level is, so we're creating an infrastructure. The model of CEO at the top and the CMO and operations and media buying, boom, 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 that's only scalable to like 20 million. After 20 million, it becomes a headache to manage. And we're talking about decision making as well. Like us human beings, we're very good at making, like if we take our time, we're very good at making first order decisions. Like we'll look at what's happening right now and we'll make the rational decision that makes sense at that point. But then down the road, you have second and third order consequences, and it does not help. Like, look at most of the world just printing money to get us outside of financial crisis. It works for that point from the tools that we had. Maybe that was the best thing to do, but later down the road, it really hurts. And that's why we're seeing the inflation. We're seeing second and third order consequences, right, by Bitcoin. So, not investment advice. So then what we do, so we're creating an infrastructure. We're creating the IT systems on one side. So your offer can literally get plugged into our infrastructure of marketing, of operations, of support, of all the IT stuff. Okay, so we're creating that infrastructure. So an offer can just come in and we get a lead or a CEO for that offer, and boom, they just scale, right? That way. So this is like a huge undertaking. The fourth is for us to consolidate a fragmented marketplace. We want to help experts focus on what they do best. You're good at Airbnb, stick to Airbnb. Don't try to get into the coaching business, Sean, all right? So experts are good at what they do, but like publishing is an entirely new business model. So that's our value proposition for experts and coaches and stuff. Our vision is basically to be the Harvard Business School in the digital age. And I don't think it's too far out. We actually did more revenue than my university's business faculty last year, so. Woo. But yeah, good news for everyone. We're all gonna make it, bro. Okay, we're all gonna make it because I think like we're so great at innovation, figuring stuff out, like opt-in costs keep on rising and rising. But I think we kind of got to stick together in a way and like work off of each other's lists and create an ecosystem for our people. That's it. Here's one, any other questions? And this chart is basically what we use to look at, what are we not doing? So this took us like years to figure out, but this is it. This is like millions in here in this simple framework. We basically look at, okay, we rate our business on each aspect, and then we look at, okay, we're maybe like a 3 out of 5 for like Ascension. What can we do to improve that? So there you go. Any questions?
By the way, one of the things that you do really well is I was talking about multiple offers, but you have multiple offers, but you unite them under the same mission, vision, values.
Yeah.
Which I think is the way.
Yeah, two good questions. The first one, you seem like a formula guy. So I was wondering if you have a formula for identifying what the best next Ascension program is once you've completed your initial, so let's say your 5K offer, right?
Right.
How do you identify the best?
We'll do a quiz. Yeah, so we'll do a quiz, like a personality quiz. And based on a personality quiz, we're gonna also find out like what they're most interested in, right? If they're interested in real estate, are you interested in like creating a digital Amazon business or physical product business, e-commerce business? And based on that, we'll have a good idea.
I guess when you're creating it for the first time, like before you had it, you had to say, okay, what's next for this customer journey?
Right.
How do you identify what that next step is, not that next step?
I think you just gotta ask them, right? And we're creating a quiz to figure that out. Does that answer your question?
Okay, so the way you identify is you kind of ask them what they want next or what they need next, and you create that.
Yeah. The best case scenario is if you have a advisor, like a point where there's like a free coaching call and it's a one-on-one, and you just know from speaking with them, from their notes, that, okay, this person's actually interested in this, and you can tag them and put them in the Airbnb sequence. Yeah.
All right, cool, awesome. That actually answers both my questions. So.
Cool.
Who else? That's one. My quick question, do you have, and probably something that's intuitive, do you have a framework for identifying like really good runway offers? Is it just basically what you said at the beginning, large TAM, it's the option?
I think, yeah, man. Like, I think instincts go a long way too. Like, and sometimes it's such a no-brainer, like a crypto offer, you know? You can just launch a bot tomorrow and say, hey, this makes passive 20% returns every month, and it'll crush. And so that's a way. Of course, those are the no-brainer mass market offers. However, you also look at like a growing market and see, okay, are there people entering the market? Because if people are entering the market, there's so much money to be had, right? There's so many coaches now, right? This amount of coaches did not exist 3-4 years ago, but the market was growing. That's why there's profits to be made. That's why people are entering the market.
When you're thinking about multiple entry points for like the same business, how do you think about the difference in deliverables for the different tiers, and ultimately like what a prospect is presented with? Like, do they figure out that from the app that they send in, or is that kind of like a closer's job on the call?
Yeah, it's a closer's job, but we make them product aware before the call. So they know the products before the call, and we do something maybe we shouldn't do. We actually make them price aware before the call too. You know, maybe we shouldn't. Yeah, it cuts the closing time in like half, right? Our average sales calls taking money from a stranger that didn't even know about us like 3 days ago, is in 20 minutes, the salesperson has their $5, $10, or $25,000.
One thing I think is, for you, like you guys saw his ads. His ads, they're so good at ads. So that's the way they optimize for marketing, almost pre-selling. For us, like our superpower is the sales. So I'm just like, yeah, we're not telling them the price. Like just get them on the call. You know, because our sales, that's our strength. So it's just an example of playing the strengths.
I was curious to know, through what medium do you make the person aware ahead of the call? Like, where do you tell them?
So video, right? So salesperson before the call sends them a video, and the video talks. It's all value, and it's all the FAQs, right? The 30 minutes of the call usually are wasted they're wasted in kind of they should be spent creating rapport and just not too much information about the business or about the offer, and then the salesperson does it. But in the video, we actually just make them price aware. So if they're looking to buy a $5 offer or hoping that it's like only a $1,000 offer, they're probably not a good fit anyways. Yeah.
Hey, ads and attribution question. Just curious that with iOS and all of your spend on YouTube, what did you see in your funnel? Did you switch to a North Beam type of thing or other kind of attribution? Are you looking at total money in, total money out? Just kind of curious what you saw, because we've kind of experienced a lot of that.
So we've got an in-house media buying department that does that. Like I actually don't even know. I'm not involved in those things anymore. Yeah. It'd be nice to it'd be nice not to be involved in any marketing as well, but it's important.
What's your difference between the 5K, 10K, and 25K?
A great framework is do it yourself, done with you, done for you. Yeah.
Who else? Anybody else?
Talk real loud. This is awesome. And I actually watched one of your videos over the weekend and opted in. I was like, is that the guy that's been emailing me? Seriously, I wonder if he works with Cole or something. My question is like, I'm trying to, like, this is such an awesome like meta structure that I'm just trying to brainchild how I can expand my offer. I'm totally committed to revolutionizing my very small industry. You know, so I have a million questions, but I'm like, what's the best way to just kind of sort through how to apply some of these principles? I'm reaching, I'm grasping. I think it's really awesome what you're doing. I'm just trying to figure out how do I apply that here. What would you recommend?
Yeah, I think if you just put your business on the framework, the 4 parts of the business, and just rate it, right? On Ascension, I'm a 0 out of 5. On lead gen, my cost per acquisition, right? CPA, cost per acquisition is like pretty high, right? Okay, let's fix the lead gen first. And maybe I need to have the broadest message possible for my target audience, right? Yeah, and creating a new category. I think that's huge. A lot of people just don't create a new category, especially if you're in a saturated space.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have a lot to talk about legal. I'm using you up, dude.
Taking notes.
Who else? Anybody? Going once? Yep. What you got?
How do you think about the pace of your growth and projecting to 2022 being at the size you are, or maybe even up until this point? How are you thinking about it? Are you thinking exponentially? Are you thinking incrementally? Are you thinking month by month, quarter by quarter?
First of all, I don't talk to dance, okay? Inside joke. I think, yeah, so I think we can hit 200 to 300 mil a year in like 2.5 years if we keep on rolling out offers, if we keep on attracting good talent like experts and profit center managers, right? Really good CEO personalities. Yeah, and honestly, it's a people problem. We just need good people now. That's it. Everything's a people problem, and I should be spending most of my time on that.
Have you read Ready, Fire, Aim?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So it's like, what you just, I mean, that's our bottleneck as well, is literally it's the speed in which, now it's the speed in which we can attract leaders into the organization. I think getting from 25, 30 million a year, which is the pace we're on now, to 100 and beyond, that's what he talks about in that book.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing, you know. But that, it's for you guys who have read that book, it's the most read book I've read ever.
Yeah.
And I literally have read part 3, like part 3 is the part about this.
Yeah.
Superstars.
Yeah.
I'm confident, it's so good.
We actually got the new org structure from that book as well. It literally said, once you get to 20 million, you won't be able to do it with this structure. You're gonna have to change structures. And we were at like 25 and we were just trying to push so hard. I was like, this is so frustrating, it keeps on breaking. And we found out an answer in that book. So it's pretty insane, dude.
It's really good. Who else? So you guys have read that?
And I think like, aside from getting away from the kids as well, like another reason to start speaking is attracting talent too, you know?
So I know you said something about like, you know, doing JVs or working with other people's lists and list pollination and things like that. Do you have a good way to approach it? Because, you know, from, you know, in a processing standpoint, like obviously if they don't know you and they don't have, you just put them in and do the lead development with them and then try to close them. I've also found that some like affiliates don't want them to opt into your list so you can nurture them through your normal processes. So like, I don't know if you have any insights on that or any advice you can give on that.
Yeah, I think, I need to drink water, but I think a lot of people, like I didn't do affiliates either. I did a few here and there, and I did one with a crypto one recently too, because it's just such a hot offer and my speed to market for that crypto wouldn't have been on time. So that's why I did it. But usually I don't do affiliate offers either because they're now gonna bombard my list till they buy or die as well. And I think I'd be more open towards sharing lists when it's more like organic and it's more organic, more value driven. So that's what we're doing. We're launching, I might call it the BogMe newsletter, right? We're all gonna make it, right? So I might do something like that. Yeah, I'm actually looking for a writer for that. So someone who is creating a newsletter filled with value, just dropping value bombs pretty much, and creating a positive equity with the list. Because most of us, I don't know if we start with positive equity. We're like, you know, we're kind of tapping into their equity until they're tapped out. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.